Good morning. It's Positive Tuesday today, September 22nd, 2020. I'm Ben Dryden, and with me, as always, is my co-host of Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald. We're doing something a little different today, so Chris is on right away. Fitzy, good morning. How are you, man?
Good morning. How are you?
Pretty good. It's freaking nice out, man.
It's going to be a beautiful day again.
Oh, I know it. I can't wait.
Leaves are changing. That's there. It's already positive because it's so pretty out.
I know. See, I love it. I love how the show's already starting. And yeah, we're completely, we skipped our intro. We're going to start making some other small little changes to kind of not rebrand our show, but just, I don't know, figure out different ways that we can do different things. And I know I want to talk about that a little later on, about some ideas, and maybe see if other people have some ideas on essentially just ways that on Tuesday mornings we get some information, we get to have a nice chat, but also put a smile on people's face, right?
That's what we do every day.
That's what we're trying. Yeah, no kidding. So, and a lot of that I think is kind of like these segment things or parts. So what we have been doing is the first thing always is we talk about what has been positive in your life and in my life since our last show, which was Tuesday. So what's going on in the last 7 days for you?
Mine's probably not real positive because we've been kind of busy, but I know you've got some things going on. And so, it's a beautiful day out and we're excited to, move forward and keep doing what we're doing. And, I think, we had a major case here and we'll get into that. And that took up a lot of my time on Sunday, Monday, and into this morning. And we'll talk about how that process works and
the homicide, right?
We had a homicide. Yeah. Other than that, though, we had a
other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
So, but anyway, enough about me.
What now? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
What about you? What'd you do?
I had my anniversary. So we were on last Tuesday, and the next day was my wife's and my wedding anniversary. My oldest daughter, Grace, and her husband, Tanner, with their two kids, so our grandkids, moved from Chippewa Falls to Menominee last month, so we wanted to go see their place, so we decided let's take a weekend trip. So we had some babysitters lined up for our little kids, and we just kind of explored northwest Wisconsin and our area and stopped in Rice Lake for a little bit, stopped and saw Romaine Quinn out at his place. I hadn't seen that place. I think they moved there about a couple years ago. That's beautiful, just outside of Cameron. Wow, they got a great place. By the way, did you know there are some cows that have fur?
No, I didn't.
I'm waiting.
I didn't know where the punchline was.
No, that's it. He has two cows and they have fur. I didn't even know you could do that. So whatever.
There are probably some farmers chipping in here and saying we don't know. We're city boys and we don't know the difference.
I know. Yeah, and then I stopped by your place, but you weren't in.
Yeah, we had a trespassing complaint.
Yeah. And just to be clear, it wasn't your house. I stopped by you though.
Yeah.
It was on a Saturday because the last few Saturdays you've been working.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, maybe I'll catch you if you're at the office, but it looks like nobody was home. Yeah, and then we went down to Menominee and had just a great weekend. And on the way back, took some different roads. I went up one road. Holy cow! In Barron County, there's I think it's Highway F. I don't know if it's, or maybe County Road F. Yeah. Something like up through Prairie Farm from like 64 all the way up to must be 48. Oh man, you got to fix that road.
Well, 64 that's in a different county. It doesn't get to Barron County till Prairie Farm.
Yeah, okay. So Prairie Farm up to what? I think it's 48, the one right by Cumberland. Man, that was a rough stretch of road. Yeah, the whole time, like, come on, Chris.
That reduces.
Get on your highway department.
That reduces our traffic speed, so that's a safety feature.
Oh, sure. Oh, well, Shasta just commented, thank you, Shasta. Scottish Highlanders are what they're called. Don't know what they're doing in America, but...
So maybe Romaine exported an illegal cow.
Yeah, you may want to go over there and see if there's any green cards. Yeah, so it was a wonderful, wonderful short little weekend, just kind of a getaway. We don't do that often enough, and I would highly recommend just take a day. The whole trip was like 28 hours long from our travel and our overnight. We got a nice hotel with a hot tub in it, and it was just a great trip.
I see you stopped at Skate City.
Yes, Rice. That's where Drush and my wife and I first met when we were about 15. And I hadn't been back. Well, and then, probably like 19. I hadn't been back there since. And we didn't go in because it was obviously closed. But, man, so many memories. It's interesting. You always remember it bigger. And it's like,
I think it was called Moulton's Coliseum back then, or
it was down Postles. It was down
Postles Skate
Yes.
City.
Yeah.
Postles Skate City. Yeah. Think about that. That's been there a long time. A lot of people don't think about that. We have a huge roller rink in Rice Lake, and that's a great thing for kids to do on a Saturday. Yeah. And they got some neat things, fun food and fun in there, and just another neat feature to our Northwest Wisconsin community, an indoor roller rink.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with sitting home playing video games. I like to do that, especially with COVID and everything else. It kind of keeps kids out of trouble, I think, a little bit. But, man, there's just not a lot of things to do in a lot of places where you can get some exercise and have some, just some good, clean fun. And that's what I always remembered about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skate City should pay to sponsor us.
Yeah. Maybe they will now.
Adam Jarko said that we used to go to the Saturday night dance at Skate City in high school. That's when I was a cop in Rice Lake, and we used to have some issues out there, so maybe Adam was part of the problem. Well, wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't surprise me. He still is. No.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to usually the second thing we do then is go into any updates, any crime and court stories that I have written and published on DrydenWire in the last week, which I don't think I have, or any press releases that you have. And, of course, you kind of mentioned this at the very beginning. And I was. The homicide, you sent that presser out. It was around noon yesterday. Walk us through that. What's going on?
So on Sunday afternoon, we received a 911 call from a female who ended up being the mother of the deceased, stating she had located her son outside of her house with kind of like blood on his head, and he wasn't breathing. We obviously sent medical and EMS and fire, and our deputy got there along with the DNR warden who was in the area, and they did locate a subject deceased outside of a home. And there was what appeared to be a struggle inside, maybe some blood, residents, and so our detectives were called out. So we called 5 detectives out. We have a crime scene. I don't want to say crime scene unit, but all of our detectives. We have a photographer that collects evidence and marks our evidence. So we called him out. We called some extra patrol guys out, and we spent about 13 hours processing that scene, conducting interviews. Obviously there was no witnesses, but ultimately led us to a subject, and we took a subject into custody late Sunday night, and he's being held in the Barron County Jail on first-degree intentional homicide charges.
Well, obviously you can't get into specifics about things, but in these situations, what typically leads you to a subject? You had said there's no witnesses, and I believe it was the mom you had said that found her son. How do you just end up showing up at someone's house and saying, we're going to arrest you?
Yeah, we just drew a number. No, no. In all seriousness, to the family, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody involved, even the person arrested. He has a family. We're not looking to, think about, we think about that family. We think about obviously the family of the deceased. So it is a very serious issue, but that's what our detectives do. That's what law enforcement does as they connect dots, and we connected dots and we go different directions, and we try not to go down one road. We make sure we're looking at all the roads that lead here, and they just connect dots. And this person says, oh, this person might know something, and then this person might know something, and did you talk to this person?
You brought hold on a sec. You brought up something that I never thought about before. You were talking about the mother and the family of. No, I'm sorry, not the mother, the family of the alleged, the person that is in custody. I've never thought about that before, because if I did something, just horribly and dumb or whatever,
right.
Yeah, that's right. Because everyone could be upset with me, or it was my choice, and I made a bad decision, or maybe not just a decision, just something horrific. Wow, yeah, that's right. Because then I have my family that are going, "Oy, we're going through this now too," and maybe they're all like, "Hey, we're really good people."
Right.
I never thought about that before.
Yeah, and I don't know for a fact in this case, but
Yeah.
in most cases it's like that. It's like, you did something, whether the reason you did whatever you did, but yes, we have to think about everyone involved in this case, including the suspect. Obviously we treat him with as much respect, as he can, and you do everything you can for that person too, because he's a person also, and whether he did a bad thing or not, they get treated the same way any other person that we get brought to the jail, no matter what the crime is. I mean, this is as serious as it gets. I mean, it doesn't get any more serious than this.
Yeah.
When it comes to first degree intentional homicide, and that's what he's booked into the jail as. And people say, why should we talk about this? Well, it's because it's public record. We used a lot of resources on Sunday that the taxpayers, that I answer to the taxpayers of Barron County for, and I have to justify those resources. And we used a lot of resources on Sunday, and I know we have the full support of our county administrator and our county board, our law enforcement committee, and this community to, when something bad happens, go get the job done. And that's what our detectives did, our patrol division did, from the dispatcher that took the call to the jailer that booked the suspect in. I mean, this was a great team approach, a team effort. I'm very proud of the work done by the Barron County Sheriff's Department during a tragic event. You can't let emotion get involved, and that's the tough part in law enforcement is the emotional part of this. Seeing this mother, over her child, in pain and sorrow, and this unknown now, and trying to figure out this unknown for this family. And then you have a suspect, you make an arrest, and now you have another family that's upset or doesn't believe it, or hates law enforcement now. And again, none of that emotion can come into play, and that's the tough part in law enforcement.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that part up, because I literally wrote that down. Is there training for this? Because we've talked before how I would just be an absolutely terrible cop for so many reasons. And one, man, that's got to be. When you have someone there, you have a suspect, and what they're, what you think that they've done. Is there training for this? Do they go to classes, or is it just part of, I don't know, when you go in cop school or something? Or is there ongoing training, or is it just, man, we just expect you to be?
No, there's training on how to handle your emotions, but it has to come from inside. It has to come from supporting each other in law enforcement. If somebody doesn't like me, if we go on a regular call, whether maybe it's a domestic call, we go on a domestic call and there's two officers there, and I am the initial, so I'm the contact officer, and I think that, and it's just not going well for me. They don't like me. I said something to make them mad. That's when the officer taps you on the shoulder and says, you know what, let me try this. Maybe they'll like me, and you go breathe. And that's how we support each other in law enforcement. But it's also the fact of this is like this unknown, like we've got to catch this bad guy. One, if we wouldn't have made that arrest, we would have had to put out a press release that said, you know what, we have a deceased person by a cause that we can't comment on right now, but we don't have anybody in custody yet. So there's some fear that goes into the community. And as the sheriff, then it's my job to say, there's no danger to the public, or there is danger to the public, and everybody should lock their doors or do whatever. And, we had a press release because we had been there almost 12 hours. We had a press release that I had started that says, you know what, we don't have a suspect. And so anybody with information should contact us. And I don't know who killed this person, and now we need some help, and now we have this unknown and this fear that comes across the community, and so that's why our detectives work so hard, and they work so diligently, and they work so professionally, and we have to follow all the rules and collect every piece of evidence and make sure we don't miss anything. And you have a reconstruction team that comes in and diagrams the scene. A lot goes into a crime scene of this nature, and again, wrapping this up in about 12 hours I'm very proud of our team, and I know they worked hard for not for themselves, for the community that they serve. And that's the difference in law enforcement. I know we've talked about it for weeks on end since George Floyd and everything. And that's the difference in law enforcement, that we hold ourselves to a very high standard here, and the people expect it. I expect it out of the people. And that's why we have so much community support.
You said you were starting that press release already. So about what time did you get this call?
We got it at just before 1 p.m. on Sunday.
So that's less than 24 hours you had the press release that you sent, probably about 22 and a half hours then. If you had not just found the suspect, arrested the suspect, when do you think, or when were you planning on putting out that first press release? Would it have been later that night or wait until the morning? Or, boy, I really just don't want to put this out at all.
Well, no, definitely. I mean, come on, everything we do, and you get tips, and every news media gets tips. The news media knew as soon as we rolled our command bus, our evidence team unit, and we rolled that big bus down and we put police line around a house, it goes through like wildfire. We had media calling us by about 4 p.m. asking us what's going on. So, and obviously we said no comment. We don't even know. At that time, we didn't know what we had exactly. I mean, we thought we knew what we had, but again, you get a perception, you get an idea in your head, but you have to prove that idea, or you have to follow the evidence and not follow, where you think you want to go. So,
sure.
But as tips come in, the media, but I would say if we would have closed up shop there that night and didn't have a suspect, we probably would have put out a press release about midnight.
Okay.
But we felt we were going in a direction, and we could have put this press release out at midnight or when we arrested him. One is we needed to clean it up. One, we needed to make sure family had, time to reach out to other family members on both sides of the fence, if you want to call it that, the deceased and the suspects. And, you've got to get some processing for the family. But we were pushed very hard for information starting about 9 a.m. on Monday morning. And as you know, in law enforcement, if we don't produce a story, people out there are going to write their own.
Exactly. And honestly, on a side note, that is one thing that I absolutely have so much respect for you for, because it's not you don't always want to have to do that. You don't always want to tell, for various reasons, different stories that you don't necessarily want everyone to know everything about everything, or maybe now's not the time. And let's face it, Barron County isn't necessarily the exception, but there are some counties that you just don't really hear anything. And the problem is then, more information, and then it's like the water cooler thing, right? Except now social media, it's times 100. And now everyone is having, everybody lock your doors because there's a serial killer in town. And it's what? How did we get to this point? So sometimes you just have to say something. Just here's what's going on. We can't give you all the information, but here's some stuff just to put your mind at ease right now. And I've always appreciated about the fact that Barron County and you specifically have always done that.
Right. And it was prior to the Kloss case that we tried to do that and make partnerships with media. And we haven't had this partnership for a super long time, but we've been doing this for quite a while. But it goes beyond DrydenWire, because I have to be receptive to, almost 25 news outlets from Minneapolis to Milwaukee when something like this happens. And obviously when you get a Kloss case, we had a lot of misinformation going on, and we needed to control that. And that's something that's my job, is controlling the message. And that's why you have to, one, have trust, you have to have partnerships, and you have to have community support. And then your message then gets heard sooner, quicker, and clearer.
Yeah, and directly from the source. Exactly. Right. And that was, I like that you brought that up, because I've always wondered on either it's, there's some police departments that, I don't even want to get into that. I've always just wondered for the ones that don't or don't want to. But you can use the media, like, to your own advantage. Right. There's ways that you can do that, but just not doing anything isn't helping anybody. And I certainly don't think it's helping the community, but that's just my own opinion.
Right.
Well, and then, so now at this point, are you the scene, as it were, still people out there?
Actually, yes, the scene, we still have an active scene at this time, waiting for a couple results to come back before we release the scene back to the family. Sure. So we are still on scene. We've had somebody on scene for 24/7 on that scene. Probably today is more of a report day. I think we have everything. As I commented, I can't comment a lot on it, but I don't believe we're looking for anything else from an evidentiary standpoint. And now it's putting all the pieces into a report form and then sending that report to the district attorney's office for formal charges, because right now he's being held on charges that we believe, but the district attorney is the ultimate source of that information, and he will charge first degree, second degree, third degree, not charge, add something else to it. I don't know what's going to come out of this. More than likely, now we've had conversations on a case like this with our district attorney, so we're both going in the same direction. And so now he's going to review all of those reports that are being typed as we speak, and then a formal criminal complaint with a lot more detail will come out, and then that becomes obviously a public record, because everything we do is a public record, and people should say, well, that shouldn't be released. Well, it's not the way the ball bounces. Right. I don't have a say of what can get released.
Yep, and that's when we get it. Right. By the way, so you do a press release. We follow up on every single everything. Whether it's a press release from law enforcement or it's a criminal complaint that we do if someone's arrested, we follow it to the end. So that's what we wait for. But you're right. Let's go through this. The reports have to get finished. DA has to decide what they're doing. Then, they write their criminal complaint. Then they put it into the clerk of court's office. Then it becomes public record. Then we request it, and that's when we do a follow-up story on it. But we just can't do anything until either you decide to say something else if you wanted to, or that document is actually filed in court.
And more than likely, you'll probably put that document on your site on DrydenWire, and I'm sure you'll take some heat from somebody that says that shouldn't be there, or it should be there, or why didn't you have this sooner? Yeah. And so, that's the decision that you get to make, and that's the trouble with that, is people don't like that information out there. Well, that's how it is. That's a public record. You can come to Barron County and sit in the court hearing and read about and learn about every case that everybody gets arrested, unless it involves a juvenile. Then you get kicked out of the courtroom. But you can come here every day and sit in court and watch court and learn about all these crimes.
Yeah, maybe Drew should do that on next year's anniversary.
Yeah, just hang out in Barron County and just see who got arrested today and what they have to say.
Oh my goodness! Do they allow drinking in the courtroom?
No, they do not.
We could drinking games or something. I don't know. All right. Well, obviously that's a big story and a big case that is going on. And thank you very much for just talking a little bit about it. What else is going on in Barron County?
I don't think anything, but no. We were writing a story on a high-speed chase we had on Thursday involving a drug search warrant we were doing. Obviously, I haven't even got to that, and it probably will be old news by then, but we had some people charged with fleeing and some meth charges. I think they were charged this week. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't followed the court document. But so we had some other cases going on besides that. The world doesn't stop because we have a major case. We had some other things going on in the county. In fact, during that, the Turtle Lake officer got into a high-speed chase that went into Polk County during this investigation. So you just can't pull people off of that to go help him, but you need to pull someone. Yeah. So it's all about resources and timing and supporting each other. And many of these local law enforcement agencies support us when we're all tied up, that they handle some minor things for us. But this was a major thing, so we had to pull some people away to go help the Turtle Lake officer. Just what we do in Barron County and in law enforcement.
That was, I think, yesterday. I think I got the notification thing. I think it was 63 and Highway 8. Is that right? Is that the one? Mm-hmm. There was a crash there. So, and I haven't heard anything since. But
yeah.
Well, was everyone okay in that one?
They took somebody into custody, and I don't know how it stopped or how it ended. But that was on Sunday. Also, it's Tuesday already, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Positive Tuesday. Duh.
Positive Tuesday.
Yeah. COVID stuff. Any updates on COVID? We usually like to touch on that a little bit. I saw a couple of announcements from Barron County in the last week.
Yeah, we've had some
casino and something in Birchwood.
Yep. And I think there was a couple of businesses that had an outbreak or a positive was in this place. But if you're not by somebody for 15 minutes within 6 feet for over 15 minutes, then you don't become a close contact. And so there's a lot of work being done. I met with our DHS director yesterday on a conference call, and she said they are keeping up, but they're struggling also to keep up because of some of these outbreaks like that. They have a few more close contacts, but right now our public health is doing a great job of keeping people exposed. I see our numbers spiked just a tad But that was over 3 days. We had 13 cases over Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That was our number 13. We're still in that, 25-ish active cases. But we need to continue to do a good job. Our schools are doing a good job. We've had a few, not as a sheriff, but as a parent. I've gotten 2 emails from the school district in Rice Lake saying there's been a positive case and all the close contacts have been contacted. So if your son or daughter hasn't been, you don't have to worry about it. But continue to wear face mask and social distance and, things like that. So It's going good. I'm proud of our schools for doing all they're doing. They're doing the best they can, and give a shout out to our teachers and our superintendents for doing a great job.
And a shout out to you and your team in the sheriff's office and all the agencies that were involved, because I don't know how many of these you typically have, or cases like this, that homicide case. I mean, that was pretty fast turnaround. I mean, we were talking about your press release that was the next day, like in 22 and a half hours since you get the call to here's a press release with an announcement, and you could have even done it earlier. I mean, that seems faster than what I would expect. I would think it would be a couple, 3 days, maybe an announcement earlier, but a suspect in place already, and that it wasn't at the scene at the time. Obviously, there's no witnesses. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, our team are fabulous, and like I said, no matter if it's public health or if it's human services or our highway department, Barron County, we work good together, and we have good teams in place and good procedures in place, good processes in place. Just like our schools and just like everything. So it works out really good.
So you didn't get to see the Packers game then?
I did not see any sports on Sunday. The first quarter, and we kept getting updates, and then it was, pretty soon it was dark out, and we're like, wow, I wonder if the Packers won.
Yeah. Are you a Packers fan?
I'm everybody's fan. I'm everybody's shirt.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I like it when the Packers win because there's less crime in the world. Everybody's happy. It's a better positive Tuesday.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, very much so. We're diehards here. So when things go bad, you get angry.
It's a trickle effect.
And there is a trickle effect. I agree. I don't have any scientific data behind it, but it's better.
I love sports, but I don't care. I mean, I'm a Cubs fan, aside from our World Series a few years ago. I mean, it's fine. People come to class and say, oh, you see Cubs lost? Like, yeah, what did you expect? They're the Cubs. They never win. I still love them. And then, like the Bears fan, they're 2-0. Yeah, they're not a good team. They're not finishing with a winning record. They're terrible. So, yeah, I really don't care.
Yeah, no, I love sports too, and I know there's some difference out there in sports world right now about what's going on, but we've got to remember that that's entertainment for us, just like a movie, and they're not. We can't put them this high on a pedestal. They're just regular people like you and I. They just play a game that some of us love to watch, and that there needs to be, again, some more respect, some more different things out there. It comes from leadership is what I believe. And if you have good leadership, your team doesn't do that. So, but don't put them so high. They're just regular people too, and we'll come out to be somewhat better.
Yeah, and politicians too, to be honest.
Right.
No, I'm just,
Just put sheriffs up here, but the rest of us, no.
Right, exactly. I mean, that one, duh.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
I don't know anything. Should be a quiet week, I hope, the rest of the week.
Nice.
And, obviously we'll have a court hearing involving the suspect sometime this week, I would assume. When the district attorney charges him, he'll go to court at 1 o'clock one of these days. Obviously, it won't be today, probably not tomorrow, but Thursday or Friday we'll have a court hearing. We'll have to provide, some security at that court hearing because of the severity of the crime and probably have some media attention. So we're preparing for that. And then we'll prepare for the next case that happens. It could be tonight, it could be tomorrow morning, and it could be, in 15 minutes. You never know in our line of work. And we never thought Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, I'm sitting in my chair, turning on football and taking a bite of my sub, and my phone rings. And, I got home at 2:55 a.m. So
Monday morning?
Yep.
Well, I talked to you Monday morning.
I did. Yep, you're right.
You only had a few hours of sleep?
Yep, that's how we operate. You have to come back to, do updates and press releases and do that. So,
answer calls from me and
yeah, hey, you're media. I don't know if you group yourself as media, but
technically we are because we are, but I don't know.
So what's new? What are we gonna do next?
Well, for like next today, I don't know. I got to write a story. Another one of those examples. Requested a criminal complaint. I think it was in Barron County. Some child porn stuff. Gross stuff. But these are the kind of people we kind of want to make famous on DrydenWire, right?
Another uplifting topic.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, he's caught, so that's positive, right? Do the booking report, stuff like that. But really, I wanted to, before we wrap up here, ask you about our show, Ben and Fitzy, Positive Tuesdays. I would like, I love our conversations, but do you have any ideas on something that we could add to it or try out?
I just, whatever the people want, we answer to the people. And so if there's something out there that people want us to talk about, we'd love to hear your ideas. Us, we'll talk about anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
And some people don't like, some of the topics, and it's just what we do. We just got to talk about everything and have conversations, whether we agree or disagree. We can talk politics, we can talk about the sky being blue, or we can talk about, whatever we want. So whatever people want out there was the ideas we want to bring forward. We're just trying to, we want to keep it positive. We want to keep, not get so people hate us, but we get about 50 viewers, but I'm sure a lot more people view us.
Yeah, like 95, I think it's 95 or 97% of the people who actually watch the live shows actually watch it after. Because, they're, I don't know, it's 9 o'clock. They're probably working.
We should be.
What? Yeah, they should be.
Hopefully.
Yeah, if my wife is watching right now, put it down and get to work, honey.
Yeah, right.
We should, any interest, should we have Dad on?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's bring your dad back. Everybody probably misses him, and he's probably looking for something to do. He's probably bugging your mom.
Yeah, I can confirm that. I'll put that rumor to bed right now. That is a fact. No, that'd be great. We can, I don't know if we'll do it for like a segment or just for a whole show, or maybe he'll be a recurring guest. We could have some recurring guests. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Awesome,
we can have Adam Jarko back on and tell us about his days, and maybe the statute of limitation hasn't ran out. We have some crimes to solve. Yep. So now I have a case to work on. Great.
See, now you have something going on this week. Yeah. I think he's actually going to be on. We were talking last week. I think he's going to be on a week from tomorrow. He's going to come on and do a show. He's done a few of them, and they always go very well. And I love talking to Adam.
He's going to bump me.
No, it's not on Tuesday. No more of that. I think I only did that once, maybe twice.
Dan on the show would be great. And if anybody has any other ideas out there, we'd love to hear them. Even obviously not live on the show, and we're watching the questions. That's why I glance over once in a while. But we'd love to have comments, questions, topics you want to talk about. We did put a topic, and I didn't get to it. We did put a topic on our Facebook on how the sheriff's department could be more responsive to the community.
Oh, I saw that.
And we got a ton of great responses. We're putting them on a sheet. I just haven't. That was my Sunday project. I actually had a notepad in front of me, and instead of writing down topics off Facebook, I had to write the address down that I was going to, and left the house. But that's the kind of stuff I do for a hobby, and is look at Facebook on Sundays and take notes. And there's a lot of good ideas out there, and we had a ton of great comments on how our sheriff's department can be more responsive in the community. One of the topics that we're looking at trying to do as we speak is having a coffee with the cop at night. A lot of people say, let's have coffee with the cop, and we have them at night in the morning when people are at work. So one of the things that we're going to probably do is have something at night, or maybe we'll do a live show at night once. Maybe we'll do a 7 p.m. night show.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
We could do, if it's after like 8 or 9, we could do more of the, grown-up one.
No.
Okay. I don't think we'd talk about anything different anyway.
So. Yeah, exactly. So we could do it in a dark alley at night. We could have a dark alley scene in the background. Ben and Fitzy from your back alley.
Yeah. Okay. I probably won't write that one down, but
yeah, we'll be getting to those ideas that were put on Facebook. Obviously this take precedent, and we'll get to those hopefully this week.
Good. Then we can talk about that next Tuesday, and you'll actually have something positive to talk about.
Yeah. Well, it's all positive. We're all smiling, and we've got some families to take care of. But again, that's what Barron County does well. a lot of support for both of these families, and we continue to do our job, and I can't be more proud of the work and the accomplishments of the Sheriff's Department over the past 48 hours. They've done some tremendous work, and they'll enjoy next weekend, hopefully off, and we'll have well-rested detectives for the next case that happens.
Nice. And it's the first day of fall.
It is.
That's great.
Well, the leaves are changing, and I think it's going to be a very colorful weekend for the trees, not not for anything else. But get out, enjoy the outside. It's going to be some nice weekends, and Friday night football was back at most of our high schools, and so that's pretty nice to see. And again, hats off to our athletic directors and our superintendents for making all that happen.
Yeah, and hats off to you guys, all of you, all the entire Barron County Sheriff's Department, and all the people that have worked on this case. Not just this one, obviously, but sometimes it's important to point out one thing, and this is it, man. Great job to all of you guys.
Yep, they worked hard, and appreciate it. Everybody have a great day, and do something positive for someone. Smile.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
All right.
You've been watching Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy. I will see all of you right back here tomorrow morning when I think I might be chatting with Congressman Tom Tiffany. I think I'll find out today. Or for sure this Friday is when I continue our weekly Friday series, Meet the Candidate, with 28th Assembly District candidate Kim Butler. That's this Friday at 8:30. So until then, stay safe, keep your social distance, and as always, have a blessed day.